Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of QuickMail.io.
Hey, and this is Jack from emailsthatsell.com.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I hope you enjoyed our show so far. We've been asking for almost 90 episodes to review our podcast. But despite downloading many episodes, we still didn't get a review from you. I understand you're busy, probably in your car, and it's not easy to go and review our episode right now. So we'll give you one last chance to send in your review. But before you go away, enjoy your last episode on the breakup email. Today, we're going to talk about breakup email. I can't believe, actually, we haven't talked about breakup emails since the beginning.
Yeah, I think this is a cast we've been meaning to do just because it's a simple concept, but it works. It's just something everyone can do to get a few more leads out of each campaign. And it's about time. Let's do a breakup email cast.
But for those who don't know what it is, do you mind just explaining what it is and maybe give an example as well? That'd be great.
Let's maybe save the example to the end because then we'll go through it and you'll end the cast with the clear example of a breakup email. That way there's no questions about how to write a good one. But here's what it is. That way you're going to want to stick around at least through this short cast here.
Cheeky.
Now, all right, what's a breakup email? It is the last chance that you're going to give your prospects to reply to you. It's the final email in your cold email campaign, and it uses a bit of scarcity to drum up more leads because essentially what you're saying is this is your last chance to take advantage of this offer, but you're doing so in a way that it's not coming off as too salesy or aggressive. And if you can get the tone right, it works pretty well.
Yeah, sales close tomorrow. Do you want in?
Probably for our purposes, a breakup email may be like, I've tried contacting you about XYZ, and this is sort of the last time I'll bug you about it. And just letting them know that you won't be coming back with this offer is sometimes all you need to get that prospect to hit reply.
Yeah, the aim of this type of email is usually to fight inertia. You haven't received any reply, and you sort of like want to juggle one more time the prospect and figuring out, should I stop contacting this person? Should I move on? Or can I get a last reply from them?
Maybe the biggest question you have to ask yourself before using a breakup email is it the right time to send them the final email, right? So, Jeremy, do you have any thoughts on when you should be using a breakup email?
It's the first email for sure.
One and done, that's it.
Ideally, you wouldn't want to stop contacting someone because we talked about it. We're a big fan on timing on the cast. It may not resonate with them this month because their priority is different. But who knows, maybe in 6 months, they may say, actually, yeah, we just talked about it, last team meeting. Let me just connect with this person and off you go. You're top of their mind.
Yep.
So why would you ever want to actually stop sending emails to that person? And I guess there are some cases in which it kind of makes sense. I can see 3. The first one is when you're ready to give up on that lead. I mean, if you want to stop for XYZ reason, you may actually just want to try, one last time with just saying to your prospect, this is the last time I'm reaching out. If you haven't replied to me until now, then, this is your last chance kind of thing. The second one is when the offer is genuinely about to expire. Let's say, for example, you're a consultant and you only have X number of slots available. You may want, when you have like 2 more slots, to just send an email to everyone and say, look, till now I haven't received any response from you. I understand that may not be your priority at the moment, but just wanted to let you know this is probably my final email. I just have like 1 or 2 more clients, and then the offer is gone, basically.
Yeah.
And the third one, I would say it's a little bit different one. This one is, imagine your sequence of email doesn't bring any reply or very, very, very little. And it's just to figure out, is there something wrong here? Just sort of like squeezing a little bit, because usually you're not going to get a better reply rate as a breakup email. It's sort of like shortcut a few of the email sending and just say like, combine all possible responses into one last email kind of thing. So it's basically around the idea is, does that has any value to you, or should I really stop sending it to you?
That's smart. And for me, in general, I'm thinking okay, have I said everything I can possibly think of to share with this prospect before I'm ready to say, yep, they're just completely not there. Sure, there's the timing issue that we come back to from time to time. And that means you will not necessarily want to completely close the door on a prospect. But if you're in a position where you've thrown everything you can think of at them, in terms of writing intriguing value propositions, you've figured out different offers to share with your prospects, and you've just about ready to give up on them. Well, before you do that, perfect timing to send a breakup email to just squeeze a few more leads out of that campaign. And in my experience, you're going to get some positive replies at it, almost no matter how many times you've reached out or how many people on your list. It's really effective, but there's a caveat here, and you have to have the right tone with your breakup email. If you come across as angry or condescending, it doesn't work, right?
Frustrated as well.
There you go. It's the idea or the mentality I have is,
bloody hell, I sent you 10 emails and you're still not replying. Yeah.
how dare you? You've been ignoring me.
I know it. It's on purpose. You're ignoring me.
Yeah. So my sort of mentality when I'm writing a breakup email is they have to like me after they read this email. So you want them to understand that they're not going to be contacted from you again. And really, they're not going to have the chance to take you up on the offer in the future. So it's sort of now or never, sort of. You put a little bit of a scarcity tone in there, but the overall message is, I understand. Seems like it just wasn't right. And that's why I'm sort of letting you know XYZ. Okay.
There's obviously a good and a bad way of doing it. The bad way is definitely selfish, like I'm giving up, I tried enough time. You didn't reply to me, those sort of things like you mentioned. And I generally think that the good way of saying it is saying something changes, whether it's it's your situation in the example of the consultant, but that could be also in a situation of the company. Maybe you're switching gears, you're changing the market, you're changing position. Whenever there is a change, I think it's usually well understood by people receiving the email. And it could just be like a policy. It's like, look, we've been trying to get hold of you the whole of last year, and that's basically the condition that changed. I understand that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that introduced this sort of like variable has changed. So therefore, that's why I'm sending you this email. And the other thing that makes it a better breakup email per se is to add some value at the end. So don't just leave for leaving, but also, try to say, and just in case, you happen to be still interested in XYZ, here's the last link for you, or here's something sort of like gift that you give to your prospect before leaving. Like you mentioned, Jack, leave the prospect in a good mood. It's just like a last impression is also quite important.
And there's one other thing to share before I go ahead and just read the breakup email I've put together here. And that's, even though you're telling them you'll never be in contact with them again, keep in mind that this may not be the last touch you'll have with this prospect. Hopefully you send this email, they reply to it, you get them on the phone, or they take an action and you have this relationship with them. So just keep that in mind, that this could be a lifelong customer that you get from sending this email. So you want it to be written accordingly.
Yeah, I was thinking the next day you can send an email like, just kidding,
Yeah, don't do that.
But, of course not. But I'm laughing. But actually, I've been called outreach by Full Contact, a company. And they say, permission to close your file, blah, blah, blah. And then a few months later, it was a different person saying like, oh, I'm just following on Mark's lead, and then just retrying another drip email.
And how did that strike you?
At some point, it's just like, if you don't do what you're going to say, then, what are the chances of me willing to go on a business relationship with you? Just think, it may be tempting to keep on following up, but yeah, at what cost?
I suppose they're trying to get creative here, not point blank saying that you will never hear from Full Contact again. Maybe they worded it just so you understood that you wouldn't be hearing from that particular person. I don't know, but
Exactly, something like that.
They're at a serious disadvantage, whoever happens to be contacting you from that company after you get that breakup email.
Breakup trust email.
Okay, so here's the breakup email I put together. It's short, it's just 2 sentences here. And keep in mind, it's a little bit too much of the writer focused. It's breaking my own rule in that, but you should get the point on how to write one and maybe the tone that you might want to use. So the subject line I use is thanks from Jack, and I wrote it to you, Jeremy. So I use like your name and company to make things easy.
You're too kind.
So kind. Yeah. So it says, "Hi, Jeremy. Over the past few weeks, I've tried getting your opinion on," and I made up some service here. So it's like, "I've tried getting your opinion on whether or not QuickMail users might be able to manage their replies easier with the new AI that can categorize emails. Since I haven't heard back from you on this, I'll go ahead and assume that you're not interested. That said, if you'd still like to see a demo, just reply yes, and I'll get something set up. Thanks for reading and wish you well, Jack."
So you mentioned that this is a bit writer focused. What do you think, in your view, the writer can do in order to improve this email?
So maybe like instead of saying, "I've tried to getting your opinion on," you could just switch that around to saying, "You've maybe seen my emails in your inbox about whether or not you think that QuickMail users might be able to do X, Y, Z." The next sentence is fine. "Since I haven't heard back from you, it's the event that explains why you're sending them this email." That's fine. "I'll go ahead and assume you're not interested." Yeah, you know what? After that, it's not so terrible. It's short, and there's really only that one first sentence should probably be turned around so that it's written for them, not so much selfish Jack saying, "I've tried XYZ on," So yeah, that's it.
One thing I really like in this email is the going ahead with assumption that something prevents me from replying, whether I'm busy, whether I'm not interested, whether whatever, because people hate when things are not right. So for example, Jack, I'm going to say, "I'm assuming you're a dog person." And, you're going to have to answer. Yeah. If you're not a dog person, you're going to have to answer.
Set the record straight, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can actually benefit from that and just say like, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you're really not interested by this thing," or it's, something like that that will potentially make them react and say, "Actually, no, I'm interested, but, I'm like super busy.
Got it.
Can you recontact me in 6 months?" It's like, "Hey, sure, would love that."
Yeah, that seems to work. I didn't even think about having people feel uncomfortable when they have others assuming things about them. But you're right. It sounds like that'd be just sort of some kind of a
push over the cliff.
Yeah, exactly. Just something. Okay, fine. Let me get back. And even if they're not writing back with interest, they may say like, "Oh, no, it's actually because we don't have the budget," or "It's actually because none of our users care about this because XYZ." So you may just learn more things from sending a breakup email, even if you don't win over some new clients.
There you go. So now you know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jeremy.
Great cast, Jack.
Sending a breakup email or asking for a podcast review is easy. Simply explain to your prospect why you won't be reaching out anymore with your offer, using a friendly tone, of course, and wait for leads to come in. But a few tips before you start writing. First, don't send a breakup email unless your offer is expiring, like the consultant who can only take a limited number of clients, or if you've already tried everything you can think of to get a positive reply from your prospects. Remember, follow-up best practices still apply here, so be sure to add something of value to your prospects, even in this breakup email. All right, so if you have a group of prospects ready for a breakup email, try sending them one of these emails today, and let us know what happens by sending us an email at podcast@quickmail.io.
Hey, cold emailer.
Yeah, you.
If you got some value from this episode, give us a high vibe by sharing a 2-sentence review on iTunes.
Or Stitcher or TuneIn. That works too.
It's a quick way to help other growth-minded folks like us find this podcast
so they can send awesome emails
and make everyone's inbox a better place. Thanks.